talking about is actually getting you to inhabit the moment more fully. Inhabit the moment more. Because what's interesting about life is you have these ideas about how life is going to go, and then what happens? It doesn't go that way. And then what are you left with? You're generally left with an upset. You get yourself all upset about the fact that that didn't happen, that should have happened, that could have happened, that would have happened. And then because you're operating and exercising your own agenda, you lose access to the possibility of letting it be something else. Case in point, I had a date last night, and I think what's interesting about it is, of course, I had a date. And it was not only a date where it was, the person invited me for the movies and dinner. Like, when does that happen? That was like from the 1950s when people invite you to a double-decker there, so to speak. So I'm like, oh, this is a fun date. Well, so I had my ideas of it. And, okay, well, in dinner, I asked, is this a date? And he said, no. What? So, but, okay, it's okay. That's a whole other story. Okay? Maybe that's a whole other lesson. It's okay. But my thing is this, in the moment, of course, I had I had a number of ideas about how I thought the evening was going to end, and I knew it wasn't going to end that way. And we were only on the first course, so I had to get through the rest of the meal, and you know what? I had two choices. Give up my ideas, give up my agenda, give up my trying to control the way I think life is supposed to happen. In this case, on a date. And instead be open to, what is it that I can learn here? What is it that I can share here? How can I engage with another human being outside of the way I think we're supposed to be engaging? And I had a really great time. A really great time. I think, when I'm talking about... when I'm talking about inhabiting the moments, it's something that I was talking about I was lecturing today in the day class, which is an intro class. As it's about inhabiting the moments. If you think about it, watch children play. You yourself used to inhabit the moments fully. You did, because this part was not engaged. Meaning that part that has been triggered because someone at some point along your path told you something that triggered a self-consciousness or shame, or it triggered some sort of a hyper-awareness that who you are and what you were doing wasn't acceptable or safe. And so we as adults have been sort of replaying that feedback loop ever since. But if you watch children play, they just immerse and inhabit themselves in the moment fully. And again, I was thinking this morning, like when I used to be on the playground, I would play Charlie's Angels. And you know what? They were my friends, but they didn't know what I was going to come up with that day. And I was like, you're Bosley, I remembered all their Chris, I don't remember their names now, but I knew all their names. And I said, you're that, guys and girls. And then we were all just like, okay. And then we would just do it. There was no overthinking it. There wasn't deliberating about it. There was this full inhabit of play. Somewhere along the line, you've lost that sense of play. Part of it is because you're more concerned with how you look. We got to break that. And I think a lot of that has to do with you break through by not holding back. You are perceived the way you allow yourself to play. So what's the worst that can happen if you go into an audition and you totally tank it? You've heard me talk about this over and over and over again. Nothing. You're going to pick up your jacket, you're going to go home, you're going to still have dinner, you may be married, you're going to talk to your husband, you may have kids, you're going to play with your kids, you're going to see that life is going to go on. So it doesn't have to be a catastrophic disaster in your life. In fact, it's actually helping build the muscle that you're wanting to build in your work and in your life and in auditioning, where more and more you can go in and not be so concerned about how does it look? How am I being perceived? This is a big thing for me. Maybe because of where I am in my life as well, about concerning yourself less about what other people think of you. I just want to say one other thing about this, because somebody in here did the homework, and they sent me an email. I'm not going to out the person, and they because it was kind of private, but I do think that they commented on something that I thought was really interesting, and the implication was about being better. You guys, you don't have to be better. You don't have to be better. You just have to be. You don't have to be better. It is not quantitative, this idea of being better. Better than what? Better than somebody else? Punishing yourself for where you are because you think you need to be further ahead? It's not a measuring stick like that. Yes, that doesn't mean that there aren't things that you don't that you don't need to be working on developing. Maybe you need to cultivate more compassion or more patience or more love. But that doesn't make you better. That just makes you, again, you're inhabiting yourself in the moments in a more total way. If I'm working on being patient, that doesn't make me better than somebody who's not patient. And I thought the other thing about this word better that I found really interesting is I had something happen this weekend that really brought up a lot of stuff for me with a friend. And I started to beat myself up about it. And I was like, Tony, you should have known better. Well, if I had known better, I wouldn't have done that. Get what I'm saying? So I'm exactly perfect as and where I am. Again, it doesn't mean that I don't have things to work on. That's what I'm saying. I'm actually talking about the essence of who you are is perfect. So just think about that. You don't have to be better. Just trying to get you to be more. And I think we're gonna end with doing something here, all of us, on our feet. Because I think sometimes the comparisons that we have or measuring ourselves in a certain way, obviously, it works against us. Because we don't really realize that we are just enough as we are. Just enough.